I guess we're going live.
We're going live. Fuck it. We're going live.
Apologize in advance. I am really, really tired. So
you're really, really tired.
I'm exhausted.
Why are you so tired? Why are you exhausted, Adam?
That's for another podcast.
But I want to know.
You don't give a shit about me.
Yes, I do. I love you.
No,
you're like my little child. You're my child.
It's boring, guys. It's just working. I was just on a flow, and you know.
Are you tired because of writing?
Well, no. I'm just. I mean, I just got 4 hours of sleep. So you tell me, man. Yeah, I was, and all amongst other things, like I was doing storyboard stuff, and then I was bouncing back and forth between the script and the storyboard, and music too.
You storyboard when you write?
When I can't articulate and I'm just trying to visualize it, yeah. Mm-hmm. Because they're just really stupid, quick sketches. They're nothing ridiculous at all. They are actually ridiculous. They're pretty much chicken scratch. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, are you ready to do the intro?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to Reelisms podcast, episode 21, you guys. I'm Adam Chase Rennie.
And I am Christine Chen.
Oh my goodness, 21, you guys. We did it. 21 episodes.
We're like legal now.
I mean, amongst other things.
My dad jokes.
Yeah, way to go.
Jokes.
Hashtag dad.
So bad. Hashtag bad at telling jokes.
No, you are great at telling jokes. It's just that your sarcasm doesn't read well with other people.
No, I'm bad at telling jokes because I think they're funny, and I start.
No, you are. You are funny. You are funny. It's just you also laugh before the punchline even happens too. Yeah, so okay. So yeah, I mean, we were talking about why I'm so tired, and it's because I was writing. But yeah, it was. It's an interesting experience so far. Writing my first script, trying to work out the beats of everything. But yesterday was a little different. I have a soundtrack that I just play when I work, and I have an inspiration playlist. But I go about it in a way where each character in my script has a playlist.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So I have
what kind of music is it right now? EDM.
I don't want to say.
Really?
It'll spoil the story. I know. It's just, it feels weird.
Okay, fine.
I'm sorry.
Fine,
I know that's such a cock tease, but no, I'm so sorry.
I get it. It's very personal when you're writing.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, I have no problem telling you off the podcast. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's something pretty personal to me.
It's top secret shit, guys.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. It's just personal, you know? It's just,
I get it.
It's personal.
It's
you
cool.
wouldn't share your social security number on Instagram now, would you, Christine?
Well,
tell me you would.
Just kidding.
Tell me you would.
No, I totally would not.
Thought so. But anyways, so that's just how it feels like. It feels like I'm giving a part of my identity away, which I like to be shrouded in mystery. You know what I mean?
Oh, so
yeah,
you read your stuff. I got you.
Yeah, man. You know, I don't want to put everything on Front Street. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the process of writing a script is really hard. It's really fucking hard. So
yeah, I know.
Going through a rabbit hole of music sort of helped me tell the story of each character that's in the script. So it helps me with character development, and I have about like 100 to 150 songs per character, and I have like
good. I thought I was like 150 characters. I was like, okay, it's songs.
Oh no! There are 150 songs. Well, they go anywhere from 100 to 150 songs in a playlist, and I have about 8 characters.
Wow.
So I just put in like at least 6 hours just in music time.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's
It means a lot to me. That's why I'm like, yeah, I don't want to share it because A, it's boring, and B, it's a little too personal. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Final
care.
product, you guys.
No, it's just, I think it's fascinating. I think I find anybody's writing process to be. I'm also writing. I started writing
Yeah.
this week. Sorry, last week. I need to start writing again this week. But yeah, last
I
week.
know we've been talking about writing the last 3 episodes. I don't know if you
Yeah,
still want to get into writing. It's been in the forefront of my head, and I know it's been in the forefront of your head too, right?
yeah. It's been a mix. I took a break from writing this week. Although I think I'm gonna get back to it on the weekend. I wrote last week, and it was just the beginning process. We haven't even dove. This time I have a writing partner,
Oh,
Camille.
right on.
Yes, Camille Schmutz.
Camille! Shout out to
Yeah,
Camille Schmutz,
yeah, Schmutz.
right? Yeah.
Yes. Adam says, "How much time do you waste making playlists?"
Wait, who said that?
Adam Duncan.
Oh, Duncan? How much time have I wasted? Is that what he said?
Yes. How much time do you waste making playlists?
Oh
And
man,
waste is
dude.
a terrible word. It's not waste. How many? How much?
Well,
How much?
that's why I had to take a step back. I'm like, is this boy fighting me? No,
No,
he's
no,
not.
no, no. No, it's a
But
genuine question. Well, how much time
it
do you
is.
take making playlists?
I take about like it depends on each character, especially the main protagonist, because it
Yeah,
feels like it's an ever evolving playlist. But the music that I have part of the narrative is
yeah.
different than the characters.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
so
So within the story, each
yeah,
character has their own playlist, but the overall story has its own specific playlist as well.
because it's the best way to describe each character's personality.
Got it.
It's
Okay.
my it's the best way for me to express it
Yeah.
because growing up all I made was mixtapes for people. So people would
Oh.
so growing up, well it was always a tradition.
Can you make me a mixtape?
Absolutely. But it was like a thing. Well, because I was, growing up, we didn't have a ton of money and my mom was working a ton of
Yeah.
jobs. So
Yeah.
the best thing was LimeWire and FrostWire. And I was just illegally downloading a whole bunch of songs. And people were
Yeah.
like, hey, man,
LimeWire.
if I give you a CD, can you make me like a mixtape? I'm like, you got it, man. And I did. And like, it's a genre blending of like metal to pop to even like country too. Like I'll put
Yeah.
in like old country like Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Dolly Parton,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
greatest
Mine
hits.
varies too. It,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's fun to like when you're cleaning and stuff and suddenly seeing like, oh,
You
wow.
seem like the type of person that flicks on the radio
Yeah.
or Pandora and just sees what's or listens to whatever's on there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
no,
dope.
mine switches all the time, and it just depends on my mood and like with the times and what's currently playing and a bunch of other stuff. So
Is it a
that's
seasonal
cool.
thing too for you
Yeah,
with music?
yeah, because I don't know. It's so that's why it's hard to answer the question like who's your favorite artist.
I know. That's why I
Mine
can never
varies
answer that
so
question.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine varies with how I'm feeling. It varies with I don't know what's happening in my life at that time, the mood of the script, the mood of the weather that day, like so many factors. Oh, hi Alex! I did not expect Alexander Jeffrey to join the Instagram live.
What up, Bram?
Alex is a very, very, very talented filmmaker. Yes. And he has much better things to do than join our podcast live Instagram feed stream. So shout out to Alexander Jeffrey, who is one of the top 20 filmmakers in the Louisiana Film Prize. Where are
Nice.
you
Wow.
from? Oh, somebody asked where are we from? Well, both Adam and I used to be from Austin, Texas. But now my life is all over the place. Sometimes recently
Christine's living in the upside down.
Yeah, recently it's been Louisiana, all over Louisiana. Baton Rouge, not too long ago, literally like a week ago, week two. a week and a half.
Shout out to John Snyder Studios.
Yeah, at the John Schneider Studios, and then now I'm back in Shreveport. But then we'll see what happens again. So, yeah, it's all over the place.
All over the place.
All over the place. But I kind of like it that way. It's weird because now that I'm at one location, I'm kind of just like getting antsy. Oh,
well, yeah,
Pakistan.
For the people who are confused, are like, why is Christine just moving to Louisiana for no reason? So there is a reason.
There is a reason. There is a reason. The reason is because I want to make my feature. And
I'm not saying that we couldn't do it in Texas, but there is at least probably more opportunities in Louisiana, So
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, just because the tax incentive here in Louisiana is so much better, so hopefully it stays that way. And I'm seeing the film I'm on hold for that I will be doing in October is being shot in Louisiana, Shreveport.
Yeah.
And so hopefully more things come, and I made a smart business decision to move here. But I'm still working in Austin too. Like my Moth to Flame is still running in Austin. I'm still taking gigs and stuff there and kind of project managing everywhere. So no.
We were talking about music and how it's very subjective for you, and how it's ever evolving and changing. What are you listening to right now?
Right now, I like the XX.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I only listened to their debut album. I don't know if they came out with more albums.
No, I think it's their older album for sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's good. I love that album. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. Billie Eilish is on the list.
Nice. She's dope, dude. She has
I like her.
She has the type of music that is like, it reminds me, I know it's really far-fetched and I'm going to get so much flack for this, but it reminds me in a transitional period in what music is to us, like how Nirvana and grunge was in the 90s.
Oh yeah, I love grunge. I always have grunge on my.
But I'm saying she pivoted between pop and hip hop. Like she sort of like got snugly right in like her own corner of her universe. You know what I mean? So it's like her own genre blending kind of music.
Yeah.
Whereas like grunge is just just slow rock in a way, but alternative.
I like cross genres. I think cross genres are fascinating.
Yeah.
Same with films. I think there should be more cross genre films. But the funny thing is, like, cross genre films have the hardest time, I feel, getting programmed into film festivals because people don't know where they belong. So.
I know. Well, especially if you don't know where the fuck the movie is going to, and you don't have a genre to really.
Yeah.
I guess labeling it is a wrong way to say, because I'm not trying to label movies, but it's like it's something that people can. It's like a precedent that people can see and understand. Yeah. You know, like within a noir film or a Western or an action film, an action adventure film.
Yeah.
So yeah, Billie Eilish and XX are heavy hitters. Any others?
Any other ones? Well, I'll always have like classics like Red Hot Chili Peppers. I was a huge
You're a Chili Peppers fan, right on. You like that funkadelic fresh rock.
Like what you're saying, 90s grunge. I listen to a lot of that.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's funny because whenever I drive to Houston, 94.5 is always playing the same music. Like it feels like I was there in high school. It's always like Nickelback and grunge stuff. It's very funny.
Yeah, it's like because I had the same radio station in Oakland, and it was like they played like Nickelback. They played like classic 80s mixed with like popular hits. So like they'll play like Freebird, but then they'll play Sexy Back as the next song from Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
You know? So it's very complicated juxtapositions, but yeah, I have no patience for radio anymore. I feel like streaming has just taken over my life, cinematically and musically.
Sure, I hardly listen. I actually these days, either when I come off of a set, I either sit in complete silence.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, nobody, no noise, nobody talk to me. Like, just
I can't deal with that.
I can't deal with more people.
Yeah.
And then, or I'm listening, or if I'm traveling somewhere, usually I'm listening to a podcast. I've been really into podcasts lately because I like learning while I'm, driving and stuff like that. And I find that when I'm listening to podcasts, I do a better job like working out and stuff because I'm distracted. So my brain is thinking about like learning and stuff. So I don't think about like how tired I am. So, podcasts all the way.
It's a hot tip. If you are working a monotonous task or job, podcasting just makes that day just go by so fast.
Yes. So, if you have not listened to the Roger Deakins podcast, that is definitely something I would suggest to filmmakers to listen to. They bring in different crew members that they've worked with. 1917 is a common discussion on the podcast, which is very interesting, and kind of talks about Roger Deakins' background. And I like it. I love listening to what I consider are outliers. So outliers are just people who are extraordinary, who are, stakeholders or key people we think of when we think of being a professional or being an expert in that field industry.
Yeah.
And because this is in conjunction to a book I'm reading right now called Grit. But it's the idea that we just look at these people and just only see what they're producing and what they're creating right now. And we forget about the entire journey that it took for them to get there, and that they are very much, it took a lot of work, hard work to get there. And I'm saying this because he's talking about how he started and like he had no clue he wanted to be a DP, and it's mind blowing to think like a dude like that, had no clue, like who's one of the best in his field as a cinematographer, had no clue that that's what he wanted to do. He kind of fell into it. Actually, he apparently was like taking photos or whatnot, and just kind of, there was that program he just decided to join because why not type thing. It just happened. But I don't know. It's just interesting because this book about grit is about what is talent. And sometimes we think that talent is this thing that you're a God-given gift or whatever, but the thing is, it's more the effort and the time that you devote to your craft, and that time converts talent into a skill. And then with more time and effort, that skill becomes an achievement. And somebody who might have more talent because they understand whatever concept that they're trying to convert to a skill faster than somebody else does not necessarily equate to higher achievement if they don't put in that time and effort, So I just find that absolutely fascinating because I just find high achievers and outliers just utterly fascinating. I watch Chef's Table all the time because those are people who are the best at cooking. And they're saying, the last one I just wrote, he nearly killed himself from working the amount of hours he was working. But that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And every time people, talk about filmmaking and how you see filmmakers and, oh, I could never be like that, and then but what you're not seeing is literally all the hours that person is putting,
Yeah.
behind closed doors. And,
Spike Lee said pretty much like what you just said, in a nutshell. Like he had like this like discussion, like a Q&A about like the Five Bloods that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And he had a Q&A about how it's like it's crazy to see people who are like, how hard is it to be a filmmaker? Like, really? And his response is, well,
it's not.
no, he said, try it.
Right.
Try it, because once you do it, that's when everybody starts dropping like flies. That's his words. He was like, everybody's dropping like flies because they didn't realize how much time, effort, and honestly, education before you even step on a film set. Like I hate to say it, like uneducated directors definitely come and go like on a film set, but those people are the most like frustrating to work with.
Yeah.
You can't get anything done. And then you don't have the product that you can be proud of.
Yeah. But that's what it is. It's all about, so I just find this book, if anybody
what is it called again?
It's called Grit.
Grit.
Let me find the exact author. I'm very bad at Grit.
But that's fascinating.
Angela Duckworth.
Angela Duckworth.
So the power of passion and perseverance. And it is that. It's so many people get in, but how many people stick with it, right? So
how many people really like are passionate and like, yeah, I don't care if I work 12 to 15 hours a day and not get sleep and edit and write and all this shit.
I think the biggest thing is that like there's so much time commitment that doesn't translate directly to any sort of monetary gain or any sort of even satisfaction. It's just how much time we both sit and mull over a script. None of that translates into anything until we actually write it out, on paper. And even that, we can delete that 50 million times, and that people will never know that maybe that one piece of dialogue took us 10 days to come up with, after a bunch of trial and error. None of that calculates into proportion of time spent and proportion of money or earned, or what I mean?
Well, yeah, and then or even when you get into the shooting days, those days fucking change many times, due to weather, shit you just can't control. Yeah. And someone said last year, Ladisa on the Fun Employment, may rest in peace, podcast. Last year when we were talking about it, she mentioned that it's hard for a director to make art in the face of compromise.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's when most directors really make it or break it, is if they can't compromise, if they can't really at least meet the department heads halfway when it comes to, a problem that they have to solve. It goes a long way. And I do believe that people work for people, and you're right. If you're in this industry to do it for monetary gain, like if you're trying to make money out of this shit or fame, you're in the wrong industry, friend. I'm sorry. Like we're just here to make some cool fucking stories happen. That's at least for me. I can't speak on for you or anyone else, but I just love the fact that I can step on a film set and feel like I'm at summer camp again, or like I'm with friends again. It's like the first day of school. It's like you're so excited. I mean, you fucking hate school, but you get to see your friends, and
school.
All right.
I was weirdo. I loved school.
I didn't like school except for senior year when I was in theater. But
Yeah.
yeah, other than that, 3 years of hell. Yeah. So I agree. Yeah, I agree. That's interesting though that someone like Roger Deakins, who have come from a place where we all came from at one point, right?
Yeah.
And it's that like fork in the road where you don't know where your life is going to go in which path,
Right.
And of course you can overthink it and consider, or even get a second chance and
Yeah, I
go to
think
the other side.
if I recall, his dad wanted him to be an accountant, or he tried to do that, I think, for a little bit.
Yeah.
Actually. So we could have not had Roger Deakins. Roger Deakins could have very much been an accountant.
Yeah.
So,
Working in an office. Yeah.
yeah, working in an office. Crazy to think that.
It's really crazy to think that. Absolutely.
But yeah, just this idea of that's what it's at film festivals, and just in general, and I mentor people, and I think the most common question is just like, how do I get into the industry, and how long will it take for me to get there and stuff, and that it varies, but it's not hard to be a filmmaker. What's hard is staying that and sticking
Consistent.
to it.
Yeah.
And maintaining that when you have many other things that you have to sacrifice in order to make that happen, like a guaranteed paycheck, or guaranteed health care, or guaranteed anything really. There's not even guaranteed schedule.
Yeah.
So, but it's sacrifices we're all willing to very much make, because that is what we love. And there was a line in the book that was, and it's not about, hey, I did it today. It's whether you can still the next day do the same exact thing, get back on the treadmill and do it again, and then the next day do it again. That's
Make it a habit. Yeah.
great. Yeah, that's great, and that's when you can survive, and that's when you can do well. And it's not about what is talent, right? It's not about, hey, you're just naturally a good filmmaker. No, I'm not naturally a good filmmaker. I'm not I can tell you for a fact I am not naturally a good writer at all. In fact, I was I remember, like, in elementary school or middle school, like my writing was terrible, but you practice. You just practice and practice and practice, and pretty soon, like, it's not bad, and then becomes better. And
Yeah.
I can say this with, like, I was the worst writer in my. I was able to take an elective course in grad school at the RTF department at UT, and those are people who script writing. They're studying script writing. They're getting, like, masters in script writing. And here I am coming with my first script. It's like 300 pages. Terrible. And they patiently read through the thing, gave me notes and stuff. And this was in 2011. In 2019, when En Route got into the second rounder of the Austin Film Festival, I sat with those. I saw three, or I think it was 3 of my classmates were there, and they were judges, and they were all like some of the panelists and stuff like that.
No way.
And I was like, look, like, I went from terrible to, like, I'm getting to sit at the table, with these people who that's what they studied, and that is because I practice and practice and practice and practice, and I still am practicing. So that's what it takes, is that kind of commitment. There's no magic. It's literally just, you have to be obsessed with it,
And you have to like it too. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you have to be obsessed and you have to like it. Like for me, like I know, like hearing like, wait, you made a playlist for each character, and you had 8 characters with 150 fucking songs. Are you high or something? Well, answer your question. Yes, I am, but that's besides the point. That's besides the point. I do, however, I'm in love with this story that I'm writing.
Yeah.
I literally fell in love with it, and I'm like, okay, I have to see it to its end. I have to know how it ends. You know, like it's, and now it's like I don't find it a process. I just find it a journey. It's just like every morning I look forward to it. You know, I get my cup of coffee and I'm like, all right, I'm going, I'm rolling my sleeves back in, and I'm heading in. And it's funny because the last time I was excited about that was like going into the championship game of basketball back in middle school. You know, like one of the best days of my life, you know, and it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, I'm going to keep practicing. I'm going to keep doing this. And I know this is a good story, and I think I have something here. Of course I could not, you know, it could be the end of that. And, you know, somebody reads it's like, the fuck dog shit is this? And, you know, go back to the drawing board. I'm not necessarily giving up, but you know, it's going to be a learning curve for sure. And I can't promise anything.
Everything I've read in about people is that they started off not knowing what they wanted to do, or they fell into it, or they were terrible at it, or people told them they were terrible at it, and they just outworked everybody. Literally, you love it so much that you outwork everyone.
You do, and it's almost like there's not even a competition level with me, you know, like there's no like, you know, like I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and he's also writing, and he would tell me, he was like, how many pages did you get in? And I'm like, none. What difference does it make? Like, if I got 0 or 150, like everything's a process. Sometimes it's just me for 3.5 hours just staring at a fucking wall, and I can't think of anything. And then I would just have to get up, take a walk, come back, take a shower, do some chores, whatever the fuck I have to do, to then sit my ass back down and not leave this fucking office until I got another scene written down. You know, it's just one of those things.
Everybody's process is different.
It is, but you also like, I tend to, I feel like I have to be strict, but in a respectful way.
Discipline, yes.
Just discipline, but not in a way that I'm just like whipping myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm just like,
there's gotta be discipline. I mean,
yeah.
They just, and everybody's motivated in different ways. Mine, I mean, I'm not. Everybody knows that I love competitions. That's how I get motivated.
You know, I feel like you would love video games, because video games is like a little mini competition for yourself.
I'm terrible at video games.
I mean, if you get the time to learn, well, you might be addicted, but you know, might be not a good idea. But I'm saying, like, it's almost like writing in a way. It's just like you're playing a video game and you're just trying to beat the levels and go through it until you arrive to the boss.
Here's a funny fact. So my extension of myself, Carly, who's usually my second AD.
Shout out to Carly Shield.
Discovered that we love productivity games. Like, you know, here's a restaurant. How many tacos can you make? That kind of stuff. And like, let's upgrade the game to add a burner, an extra burner, and let's add a cheese stand. You can make more tacos. Like,
now I can make 250 tacos a minute, bitch.
That's how you know that you are destined to be an AD.
Yeah, dude.
Games are the shit. So
it's like a reward system, right? It's just
it's like, I made more tacos. I'm making more money
than any motherfucker around you. You understand that? You're like the taco queen.
So
yeah, dude,
crazy.
But I feel
I don't
it though.
Anybody else any questions? Let's see if anybody out there. Instagram, you guys are letting us down today. Who has questions?
Do we have any questions on Facebook?
Not yet. I'm looking. The only question that last time was like, where are you from? Which is cool. I did get a message a few days ago that I answered just via type, like when I type like this on Instagram. So random.
Like a typewriter.
I didn't know this person, and they just randomly messaged me and just had. It was the same question, which is like, "Hey, I live in Seattle. How do I get into the industry? What do I need to do? Blah blah." And here's a general flat suggestion: is that no matter where you are, if you can,
I will always be watching you. Sorry.
If you can find a university or any sort of film program anywhere, and there are going to be. It doesn't have to just be linked to a university. Your community, colleges, there's like Austin School of Film. We have that in Austin. There might be something like that in Seattle, wherever. People are going to, when you have a network like that, people are always going to be looking for help. So try to link yourself up with that, with those organizations. There's film organizations, film clubs. There's networks like Women in Film, Film Fatales, I don't know. And Facebook, if you just do a search and type in your city and then something with film crew behind it, so many groups pop up, and those are where people are finding jobs and whatnot. And I was asked to give 3 tips, and I think my first tip was, if you want to be a director, just make stuff. Make a lot of stuff. Make so many things. Like, you don't need the best camera. You don't need the best lighting and everything. You just need to practice and make lots of things. And while you're making things, you've got to share them. That's the part that I think artists have difficulty with, because they're their worst critics. And it is scary to share your work. It's very personal. And to have someone shit on that hurts. But
sometimes it's for the right reasons, but there are also for the wrong reasons too.
Sometimes it's for the right reasons. Sometimes you need someone to tell you, I don't understand your film, or like, this is boring, to go back to the drawing board and not take it personally and try to see why. I think the more I do this, the more I'm better at taking criticism. Now I'm just like, yeah, please tell me, shit on it. Tell me all the terrible things, and so I can know how to make it better, So,
yeah, and there's also should be like a level of respect too for the for criticism.
Yeah.
Like people really definitely don't know how to criticize, and that can hinder someone's progress. Like,
Sure.
Paul Thomas Anderson. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I would just say yes, when you're giving critiques and stuff too, you need to be careful and try to give something that's constructive, and if you can attach a why to anything, I think that's always good to do. I don't like
attach a wide shot. Yeah,
like a why, WHY. Like,
okay.
don't understand your film because this,
Yes.
because this, and this, and this. Not just like, I hate it, or like, it's terrible. Like, those are terrible. Those are bad. That's bad feedback. It's okay to dislike something, but explain why. I don't, this is not my genre. I don't like it because I feel like this character is whiny. I don't like it because I feel like I can't relate to this character. I don't like it because it's confusing, just things like that. And I think the best way is to practice by discussing the movies that you watch, debate about those. And think about, we just got a question. Oh, yay. Adam said, what advice do you have for someone directing their first film? That's a good advice. That's a good question, Amit. Do your homework is the biggest thing. Read your script.
Watch movies.
Read your script. Make sure you know what you're directing. I break down scripts very, very in detail. I go through each scene and I go through and analyze what the characters are doing.
Yeah.
What the common questions you're going to get from actors are, what was my character feeling at that point, and what was happening before we were in this scene?
Right.
Because, and they ask this a lot because most of the time things are shot out of order. And so it is very difficult to remember that sometimes,
Yeah, it is.
what's happening before and after. So that's
But you can also agree you have to be an expert on the script.
yes. So that's the homework. If you
Right.
break it down, then you'll know exactly what comes before that scene and what comes after that scene, or comes 2 scenes after. You should be able to know your script, like, without having a script.
Yeah, that's why like directors who don't really pay much attention to the intricacies and the implications of the writing, and like how it's supposed to be portrayed, that's where shit just kind of falls flat.
Yeah. So yeah, do that. I think the other would be, yes, watching other films, getting a good idea with your department heads, talking through ideas with them. The worst is working things out right there on set. You're going to have already so many problems happening and popping up on set. You want to reduce those as much as possible. So the more prep you can do beforehand and answer those questions, the less you will have to do right on the fly when you're stressed out already. What does a typical breakdown look like? I sometimes, well, for me, I will print out my script and I'll like jot notes in it. I'll just be like, circle this character. I'll just be like, hey, I was doing this before it, and or I will break down like which day in the script it is. I'll break down. It varies. I go from that, then I do a shot list for myself. I literally will sit there and stare off into space, just be like, and just imagine it in my head, and then I'll write it out like wide shot, and then I'll go to a mid shot, and then I'll go to this like side angle thing. And if I'm not able to explain it, I go look for comparable images online, or I'll go and take my still camera and find a friend and just take photos that illustrate what I'm trying to, convey.
Articulate, yeah.
Yeah. I bother my department heads way in advance so that they can make stuff, Kellie knows this.
That's just logical pre-production.
Yeah, totally. So there's just every single thing, like every.
Yeah, and I guess the short answer is: are you like willing to be part of the process every single baby step of the way?
I don't understand how directors aren't. Like,
yeah,
I have to be in every single part of the process.
I am a psycho X.
Yeah.
With
like,
yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I have to. Like the only thing I don't have to be is like maybe the G&E department. Like,
right, because they're often their own
world.
They can
build their own stuff. It's cool. Like, as long as it achieves this image. Like, when it comes to art direction, when it comes to obviously the directing, and then the shot list, I'm very involved with the shot list. Those things I'm like from the start just in someone's face. But yeah, I would just say maybe post sound I'm very involved with, but like production sound and G&E, like I don't go and bother them. Like, they know more
right
clearly for that. There's not. But yes, do I collaborate with DPs on my shot list? Oh, hells yeah, I do. So yeah, sometimes I come in with the shot list and then be like, this is it, and then the DP is like, oh, and then we talk it through, and they'll say, oh, what about this? And that's the fun part. You come in with your thoughts and they come in with your thoughts, and you like make a thought baby together. So
right.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah, so yeah, no, that's the suggestion for for directing your first film is to do your homework. Do lots of homework. Please don't show up on set not having read the script. That's major fail. And I have sadly worked with people like that.
Are you shitting me? How frustrating is that?
It's very frustrating.
Wait a second. So you mean to tell me that...
Don't say. Yeah, okay. I'm not saying names. I'm not...
Oh, no. I'm not saying names. I'm saying, like, the thought process of, like, oh, I have a script, but I'm just going to fuck off until shooting day?
Yeah, that happens, apparently.
Well, then.
Yeah.
Someone's not taking their shit
so
seriously.
So mad. Hi, Paul.
Yikes.
Yeah, it makes me so mad because I'm like, oh my God, you had one job.
One job, and that's to, read the material. Understand the material.
Understand the material. So, yes.
Have you ever worked with somebody who wrote the script that they didn't understand?
Yes.
No, really?
Yes, I have. But I don't necessarily...
It must be exhausting.
I don't necessarily think they didn't understand, but maybe they just didn't... Maybe... Okay, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say maybe they just were so close to it that they didn't realize that nobody else understood what they were doing. Like, they never conveyed what they wanted to everybody else because they knew in their head, and so they just thought everybody could read their minds. So
they thought everyone knew what the story was about when they kind of had their own interpretation.
Right, and that's a common problem for newbie directors, and I feel like one of the biggest skill sets that you need is I get it, you have your AD to rely on to communicate for you sometimes, but man, if you can communicate well as a director, then like you're gonna do fine. It's all about communication,
Communication. That was that was an 80s song, right? Kajagoogoo, the British band.
I have no clue.
Communication. Dum dum ding dum dum. Can we talk about people and criticism again for a quick second?
What do you need?
There was this one video I watched and it blew my fucking mind. It was years ago. This was when it was like John Krasinski and Paul Thomas Anderson doing a Q&A for The Master back in 2012, I want to say, something like that. Anyways, so he was doing press and Q&A for The Master, and they were talking about a movie, and I don't remember what movie they were talking about, but John Krasinski was like, I know you wouldn't pay attention to that because it's a terrible movie. And Paul Thomas Anderson was like, I got to stop you right there. There's no such thing as a terrible movie. There's such thing as misunderstood movie. There's such thing as a misunderstood movie. He was like, Sharknado is a misunderstood movie. I enjoy it because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I enjoy Adam Sandler films because they are ridiculous, not because, I think it's cinema masterpieces.
Magic, right.
And that's why he said, that's why I don't believe in having a favorite film. They're all my favorite. It's whatever is in that moment. It's whatever I watched last night. That was my favorite. And he was like, he was like, you don't want to tell another filmmaker that their film is bad because then it just gives them no reason to make any more art.
Right. That's fair. Mm-hmm.
And it blew my mind. I was like, what? And he was like, this film industry is a cutthroat industry. We got to stop it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that we have to say one movie is bad and the other movie is bad when we're all just really trying to tell the same story.
I like that. A misunderstood film. Paul, my good friend Paul, who's on his IG, says Happy Gilmore is a classic. Yes, it is.
Happy Gilmore is a fantastic classic. It's about a man who's struggling in his life, and the ultimate golfing tournament is going to change him for the good. Mm-hmm. The problem is he uses a hockey stick to use as a golf club. It's a great movie.
I like that. it's a misunderstood film. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because when you say
good.
something's bad, it's just like you can say Pineapple Express is bad, but really it's just just a honky movie. It's just about weed. It's nothing harmless.
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy.
Right.
But people always say, they're like, "Oh, that's a terrible film. How can you say that's one of your favorite movies?" It's like, because it is. I watch it every single year, and it makes me happy. It's like eating apple pie. It just, you don't know what it is, but it makes you feel good. It's like comfort food.
Oh.
So
Yes.
yeah, I just thought that would be interesting to share, because you mentioned how like criticism can hinder one's progress, and it's like, yeah, it can, and we're not really in each other's corner when it comes to like a good movie or a bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just it
You're
definitely
right about that. Yeah. Yeah. I never tell. If anything, I'll say these are things that I would that could possibly make it better. Take it with a grain of salt, type thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
room for opportunities for sure, 100%. There's plenty of movies. I mean, like, can we not forget about quotably and arguably the worst movie in cinema history, which is The Room by Tommy Wiseau? Like people
But lots
have
of people like the film, so.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I watch it. It's just hilarious. It's just, it's ridiculous. But I know Tommy Wiseau's intent was not that in the first place. Maybe a little bit, maybe a little tongue in cheek, but no one really knows. It's like you after you watch a David Lynch film and you're like, I understand exactly what happened in that movie.
Yeah.
You never do.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just take it, like you said, you just take it with a grain of salt and you move on, and you understand that, like, yeah, that it was a hard to understand film. I didn't get it. Maybe I'm just not as prolific, who knows?
Yeah. A misunderstood film. I like that. That is a good way to talk about.
I think it was very eloquent said. It's just like it's not really no such thing as a bad film, just misunderstood.
I like that. Yeah, because it's all subjective, really, when it comes down to.
I mean, yeah, your favorite bands isn't my favorite bands, Christine.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, your bands just suck. Just kidding.
That's true. No, it's true. I mean, like, there's plenty of music.
I'm totally kidding.
But when you go into a car and you have the aux cable and you plug it into your phone, you start playing an album, and 30 minutes in, whoever's with you is like, we got to stop. We got to stop. Whatever you're listening to, it's got to go. I'd rather listen to Baby Shark, for God fucking sakes. We're throwing your phone out the window.
Baby Shark.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we're at that 1 hour mark.
We are.
I wanted to plug something.
Plug.
October 2nd to October 11th is the voting period for the Louisiana Film Prize Top 20 Films. Yes. And I really hope that people can go watch them. I have limited, but I do have a few discounted tickets if anybody will promise me that they will actually use it, because 1 ticket equals 1 vote. The rules are, you go, it's all online now, so you don't have to be in Shreveport to participate, which is awesome. Yeah, you buy a ticket, and you have to watch all 20 of the films before you're allowed to vote.
How long is it again?
There's a maximum of 15 minutes per film, max.
No. I mean, how many days? Like the film festival is?
October 2nd to 11th.
Gotcha.
It's quite a bit of time. So,
that is a lot of time.
Yeah. So watch some shorts. A lot of them are really great, I'm sure, because they are always great every year. I'm not just saying that. And hopefully you'll vote for Voué, which is my film, which is in the top 20.
Voué.
And our lead actor, Thomas Johnson, is nominated for Best Actor. So
friend of the podcast, Thomas Johnson.
Yes, Thomas Johnson, who was on the podcast. So yes, please go prizefest.org/tickets is where you can get them. And yeah, or if you really are like, I want to watch, and you can say, Christine, I will swear on my life that I will use this ticket and not have it go to waste.
Which, if you hold the promise to Christine Chen.
Yes, that you could DM me, slide into my DMs.
Oh,
and
shit.
Say, hey, I would, if you have any tickets left, you let me know. I like to, it's discounted significantly. So, yeah, if you want to get one for me, just let me know. So, all right.
GetRealisms.com, you guys.
And also, always get your book, Get Reelisms.
Get Realisms book. Get it today. GetRealisms.com. Guys, it's been episode 21 of Get Realisms. Goodbye, Facebook.
Make sure we always put our podcasts onto streaming platforms.
Yes.
So all of this, what you're watching right now, is a live recording. So this will come out maybe in 2 or 3 weeks. But the actual, all of our previous things will come out on pretty much all podcast streaming platforms. So Spotify, you can follow us on iTunes. If you just type in Get Realisms, you'll find us. If we pop right up to listen to all of our other podcasts.
So yeah, anybody who joins in the middle of the podcast and we're like, what the fuck were they talking about? Just hold on tight. We're going to be posting those episodes on all your streaming pleasure platforms.
And we love questions. We love getting those. This is a platform to talk about what's going on in the film industry, what your projects you're working on. And if you want to be a guest, let us know.
Let us know.
Let us know.